Well, I know that I said that from now on, a lot of my, or most of my sugar-free updates were going to be written. But I think that this one is a little too hard to articulate over the written word, or I just have too much to say, and I think it'd be a whole lot easier to do it in video form. So I'm thinking of shifting my mindset of my entire sugar-free journey. I already have to a certain extent, but I want to make it official, so to speak. Um, throughout these 8 months, it's hard to believe that it's been 8 months. I've noticed that I kind of go back and forth between whether or not processed sugar is the foundation of bad health, and if it's not. Because I was, really a vehement disciple of added sugar being the worst thing for you in your diet. Right when I started this sugar-free journey, I had thought that for many many years. I had just not been able to act upon it until I decided to make it as public as possible. So, right off the bat, thank you everybody, as always, for your incredible support. But as I have tried to as I've tried to up the ante in certain ways, not even necessarily because I want to, but because I just realized that sugar is so much more than just processed granulated sugar you find in obvious sources like candy. I've noticed that health is much more than just one simple component. Processed sugar is not a simple component, but I guess more specifically, health is more than just one component. Um, I still do believe firmly that processed sugar is the foundation of poor health, and getting it out is the foundation of good health. But it is so much more than that. It is not only that, but I think the big shift in mentality that I'm going through right now is that it is processed foods. I think that processed foods are kind of the ultimate foundation of poor health. And what's kind of cool about going through all this is that you learn so much that you didn't know you would. And so I think that 8 months from now, maybe I will learn that something else is the foundation of all poor health. As of right now, though, that's where I stand. Processed foods are the foundation of poor health. Now, even when I say that, it's like, well, what's the definition of processed? Because there's like minimally processed, there's medium processed, and there's highly processed. Well, I think we all know what highly processed foods are. Basically, the more ingredients something has, in general, the worse it is for you. If you have a hard time pronouncing 75% of the ingredients, probably not very good for you. And even if there are certain unhealthy foods that might not have too many processed components or might not have too many ingredients, like Fritos. Fritos have like 3 ingredients, I think. Still not healthy for you because there's so much salt and fat and all of that sort of unhelpful stuff in your diet. Now, getting back to the shift in my mind frame, I want my sugar-free journey moving forward to be my unprocessed foods journey. Not very catchy. I'm probably going to have to think of a better title than that to sort of develop a bit of a slogan, if you will. But that's kind of where I stand. Now, it is equal parts exciting and kind of anxiety inducing because staying away from added sugar is something that society accepts. Everyone is going to encourage you. Everyone knows that sugar is bad for you. You don't even have to convince a 5-year-old of that. Everybody knows that sugar is bad for you. But once you start getting into processed foods, it gets a little more of a gray area, and people might not be as supportive, or they might kind of throw their own opinion out there. But notwithstanding that, it's just so much more inconvenient. I would say it's actually probably significantly easier to avoid processed sugar than it is to avoid processed foods in general. Because when you think of all the processed foods out there, it is just it's baffling. It's staggering how what you would have to avoid if you don't want to eat processed foods and you only want to eat whole foods. So maybe my whole foods journey is a bit of a catchier title, but then people might think that I'm aspiring to work at Whole Foods, which I'm not. As much as I respect that institution, I don't really think that's going to be my career path. But my Whole Foods journey, maybe that's a bit more of a catchy title. But I feel as if when I undertake this, which hopefully is ASAP, it's going to be a steep learning curve because I really don't see any other way around this if I don't learn how to cook. Now, I do know how to cook. I'm a decent cook. But I don't really see any other way I'm going to be successful in this if I don't prepare most, if not all, of my meals. Now, I don't think this means that I have to be like professional bodybuilders and, take 30 individual Tupperware cases and, put 6 ounces of chicken in each one with a little pile of rice and broccoli. But I do think that this means I will have to be far more conscientious of future meals. For instance, if I go to an amusement park, which I absolutely love amusement parks, but it's like, well, how are you going to eat Whole Foods at an amusement park? People go there to have a good time, and Whole Foods are not a good time. But and even that is kind of like a different mentality that is important to adapt. Is that you are trying to you're not trying to, at first you're not trying to feel good, you're trying to be good. And then as you get better at it, you are trying to feel good and be good because you hopefully begin to realize that the benefits of discipline outweigh the sort of instant kick of gratification that you get from junk food. So it's going to be a lot of challenges going forward, but I am excited because I feel like this is the right way to go. I feel like I feel like giving up sugar has kind of progressively led me to realizing what is true health, what is a truly good diet. So that's really good. I can't even begin to express how thankful I am to myself, to God, to all of you for bringing me here. And I'm really excited to figure out just what it means to eat only whole foods, and I'm even more excited to figure out all the health benefits that come with it. So stay tuned for more updates, and I will see you on the good side of health.